Hey guys, so we're going to build a tabletop trebuchet, and you can see this is kind of the base for it here. I've got the instructions. I'm going to download it on my link. It's going to be linked below my video, so take a look at that. I have they're going to be basically PDF files from here. I've gotten this basically from a collection of different videos, people making trebuchets. I've looked at different ratios of how to make the swing arm and in relationship to the weights and how big it should be. I've got that all here. And basically a trebuchet is basically just a better version of a catapult is basically all it is. You're going to see what you want to start with is the base. So we want to start with the two columns here, and they're going to have a notch. A lot of times you can take the bolt and create two holes that go through here, and just take the bolt and create a hole here and create a hole here, not all the way necessarily all the way through, but so it could hold the swing arm. I've done it a little bit differently. I've basically notched it out here, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to take a plate, metal plate, and put them on top of here, and we're going to bolt it so it doesn't swing off. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these two columns, and we're going to take two smaller pieces, and I've marked them for my class. You'll see 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So hopefully you can see that. I don't know if it's backwards on your thing, but you can see 1 and 2 down here. So I'm going to take 1 and 2, 3 and 4 on the back end here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw that in. And then, once that's done, then I'm going to take two more, put that here, here, and then we're going to take, let's see, if I did this the correct way. Oh, this goes here, 5. So basically, and you want to do it by the numbers. So obviously my numbers are not exactly the way it should be here. All right, see, this should be here. This should be here. All right, so there we go. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to screw those together like so. So 1 to 1. Oh, I see what I did wrong here. Okay. So this is actually going to go this way. Here we go. Okay. But anyways, you get what I'm saying. So I'm going to create this. I'm going to screw this. I'm going to do a time lapse on this so you're not bored with how long this is going to take me to build. But you want to follow along with the numbers attached to each other. Again, for those that are home that don't have this step-by-step process, as I did with my class, just follow the instructions on the Tabletop Trebuchet. It'll give you the lengths of the pieces of the wood that you need to cut, prepare. My recommendation is you want to pre-drill all the holes so that way it's easier, much easier to screw it in together. Okay? All right, here we go. Okay, so I've got the base pretty much constructed. You can kind of see how it's constructed. So I've got 4 smaller pieces coming down like this. The 2 longer pieces go on the outside. Those are 16 inches long. These I believe are 13 3/8, 13 1/2, somewhere around there. Now, on the instructions in the classroom, if I've given you pieces, these are whole pieces. These are not cut out. These are not notched out. You can see my pieces are notched out. Okay? The reason why is because when I made this initially was that these 2 columns were not 18 inches tall. They're actually 16 inches tall. So they're actually 2 inches shorter than I want them to be, which presents a problem with the counterweight. When it swings down, it'll hit the bottom piece. So what I've done was I've countersunk this, so that way the skid plate that I put down here in the next step that you'll see, it goes down a little bit. For yours, you're just going to set yours right on top, because this is going to be higher and it's not going to scrape it as much, if it does scrape it at all. So I'm going to put that on. So this is my skid plate. That's going to go in here somehow. I got to figure out that piece. And then the other piece that I'm also going to put on is the bottom. So this piece is also important because this piece is going to prevent the concrete from pouring out. So I'm going to put this, drill that on here, glue it, obviously. I'm going to glue this, drill this together, and that's what I'm going to be doing next. Wish me luck. Hey guys, so we're gonna pour some concrete in the base of the trebuchet to give it some weight. So bear with me as I mix this concrete. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a little bit of concrete in here, not the whole bag, probably about half of it, and then I'm gonna pour some water from this bucket, pour it in there, mix it up with a little concrete or a cement hoe, and hopefully we'll get this thing poured in. So let me set this down here so you can see the process. Let's see, I've got the concrete bag in here. Got this here. Or put this right here. Okay. So now I'm going to pour in the concrete. It's a little dusty. So I poured about, let's say about 30 pounds or so, maybe 25 pounds. Let's see if I can show you that. So, a little bit of concrete there. We're going to pour some water. Get you back here so you can see the process. It's kind of hard to do at the same time here. It's going to take a lot more water than this. So I'm just squeezing this out. So that's something I can clean this with later. So you want the substance to be not too liquidy, okay? Let's see if I could show you this. So you want the substance to be Still kind of thick, but not too thick to where you can't pour it. Make sure it's thoroughly mixed. This is a good consistent. You guys still got this right here. So we don't want any dry areas. And make sure almost ready. I want to mix it up a little bit more, and then what we're going to do is you want to pour it in there. So on the base, I'm going to put some concrete. Not too much at one time, just a little bit at one time. Kind of spread it out in there a little bit. We want to make sure we don't put any concrete on the skid plate. So we got to clean that up pretty good. I might take a rag and clean that up. Alright, so you can see I've got quite a bit of concrete here. What we want to do is we want to flatten it out. You want to wear gloves, not hands. Okay, but I'm using my hands right now because I don't have access to gloves right this second. So I'm just going to push this in, make sure concrete's in as much as possible. Okay. And then we want to take something flat and take that, scoop that out, scoop the rest of it out. So. And what this is going to do is going to give it some weight, so that way when we launch things off the trebuchet, it's not going to go all over the place with it hitting, coming back down. Okay. So we've got quite a bit, pretty good. Probably take the flat part of my shovel and scrape this off. Okay, all right. Let me clean that off. go. It's kind of difficult. There we go, come on. I should have brought my concrete. It's like a little flat thing I use for concrete, I forget what it's called, but I don't have that here. Probably have that for you guys. Make life a little bit easier. Pretty much everything is kind of flat. This part here is a little raised. Good. All right. Now that I got most of the concrete in there, I'm going to take a rag and I'm going to wipe off the excess concrete off the skid plate, so that way it doesn't become a problem later on. So I want this concrete here. It's okay if it's right here, but we don't want it right on the skid plate. Pretty good. Okay, so we're going to let that cure. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bag, or take a little bag here. We're going to set this over top of that. We're going to let it cure. Okay, it takes about 12 hours to cure, 24 hours where you can actually use it. So we're just going to wait a full day. So I'm going to cover this up and we'll call it a day. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Have a great one, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Okay, so that's been done. You can see there's a little bit of gap right here because I cut the wood a little bit too short on this. It still works fine. What I did was I just took some wood glue and actually I just glued the stone onto the wood here. So you can see that part here. So I'm just gonna wipe that off here. And if you have excess glue, what you can do is just wipe it into the wood. It's not gonna hurt nothing. The wood glue here, this comes right off. It's easy to wash off. I love wood glue. Ever since I started using it quite a few years ago, I haven't stopped. It's a wonderful thing to have. Okay, so now I've got the counterweight done. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the swing arm together. So the swing arm is basically a smaller piece of wood. You want something that's strong, preferably oak of some kind. Red oak is fine. Any type of oak species, anything that's strong would work. Okay, so basically that's what I've got. And what I did was I pre-drilled the hole here for the counterweight to connect to, which I'll talk about in a second. Basically, you're gonna have a little piece of metal that's gonna go from here to here, and it's gonna hold the counterweight. This piece here is going to basically attach to the two posts I talked about earlier on my base. Those two posts. That's the bolt I was talking about earlier. I'm going to go ahead and put that on here, like that. And then I'm going to take my smaller piece and glue it and screw it onto here. I can't quite get there, but anyways, that's what I'm going to do. Okay? And then, once that's done, we're going to take the two small brackets and attach this to here. And that's going to be our swing arm with our counterweight. So I'll go to that in a second. Let me just go ahead and actually, no, let me explain it because I'm going to do this all together on the time lapse. So what I did was I took, this used to be one big strong tie, about 12 inches long. And what I did was I cut it in half, and I took a file. Let's see if I can find it here. I took a little file like this, and I took all the sharp edges off, okay? Because I've gotten quite a few splinters in my fingers from not being careful, I guess. So you want to make sure you file those off before you handle it, because you can get quite a few splinters. You can cut yourself pretty quickly. Metal is easy to cut. And what I did was, as you can see, there's a curve on it. Now, there were originally flat pieces. So what I did was I took a vice grip, something like one of these. And you may not have that, and so that's okay. What you can do is take a hammer and just bend it. And so what I did was I just bent it, and I basically smashed it to the, this part here will go on the counterweight because it's thicker. Okay, that's going to go here. And the small piece is going to go here. And basically what's going to happen is this is going to attach to here. Okay, just like that. So 2 bolts. I believe one is 1.5 or 2.5 inches, I believe. I believe this is like 2 inches or 2 1/4. I'd say I got double nuts there, and I got locking nut here. So you can use 2 locking nuts. I put a washer on there as well, so there's going to be a washer placed on it. The washers are going to be on the inside because I want it to swing freely on the arm, but on the counterweight I want it to stay. Okay. I guess you could let it swing freely as well. It may be better. I don't know. I haven't done that yet. I haven't gotten that far, but I'm just locking it in place. All right, so that's what you're going to see me do here next. All right, wish me luck, guys. All right, so I've got the counterweight. I've got the swing arm attached. Everything looks pretty good. The only thing I might do when I get, depending on how well this does, since this is a little bit high, you want roughly about 4 inches from here to here. You want the same distance as from here to here as it is from here to here. But I am tempted to bring it down a little bit, maybe pre-drill a hole here and bring it down a little bit closer, because it might scrape my skid plate pretty good. So at this point, what you want to do is you're going to take your base, you're going to take the counterweight, and you're going to place it right on top where the notches are, like that. Now you can see there's a problem here. Let me see that. So the issue is the counterweight, it should be going down right now. This is way, way, way too low. So what I need to do is, it's got to be at least, I don't know if you guys can see this, it's got to be at least 2 inches taller. So that's the issue I'm having here. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to take another stone and get a smaller stone and actually put it in here, because if I take this counterweight and move it down, it may not work efficiently. If I pre-drill here, it may not work efficiently. I can try. Actually, I can do that here now. Let's see if I can do that while I got you guys on video. So I have to adjust this thing. What I did was I took this from an older one that I had, and I thought maybe this would work better, but it's obviously a little bit too big. The stone that I have here is a little bit bigger than the one that was originally with this catapult here, with the base of this catapult, or this trebuchet I should say. So I'm going to take this off. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it up. I'm going to take this, take this bolt and go through here. So instead of going through here, I'm going to cut about an inch off. I don't know if that's going to make a big difference in how the trebuchet works. The only way you know how is by doing it and finding out. So I don't know if the ratio is going to mess that up too much. So we'll try it, and I'm just going to put it together for the video, for purposes of the video, and just use a smaller weight later. There we go. Okay. Got this. Okay. Okay, it looks like I need another washer because this one's not working out too well. Looks like the two little hex nuts that I have are going through the hole. So I'm going to get a bigger washer, place it on there. Hopefully that will work. Okay, the washer's a little bit too small for the bolt. So I'm going to get a bigger one. Okay, this one should work. The hole's big enough, and it's at least a little bit bigger than the hex nuts, so that should work. All right, so there we go. Now I've got the counterweight. Go. Okay. Yeah. So it looks like I'm going to have to get a smaller one. It's not working out too well. All right. And that's okay. I'll do that in another video. So I'll do that later. But what we want to do now is we want to take, now that this is sort of on here, what you want to do is you want to take the top two plates, the mending plate, I guess what they're called is mending plates. You're going to take the two plates and screw them on top so this doesn't come off. Okay. And that's the bit, these two. So we're going to screw that on. Hard to see from that. Let's see if I can crack it. Okay. So these two plates are going to go right on top here. Okay. You want to pre-drill those. And I'm not going to put glue on these because I plan on switching this out anyways. I don't think you really need glue on this anyways because you might have to make adjustments later. And that's something you don't want to glue because once you glue that, it's really difficult for it to come out. Another mending plate on the other side. Get it on there. There we go. All right. So that's done. Now it's together. So now all I have to do is take the swing arm, pull it back, and what we're going to do now is we're going to take these two eyelets. So this officially can almost work. We just needed one other thing, which I'll talk about in a second. So these two eyelets, what happens is we're going to put one on the swing arm, okay? And it goes, I've already got a pre-drill hole for it here. So let me see if I can screw it in real quick. And what this is going to allow us to do, it's going to allow us to basically pull like a core, basically something to launch it, to allow it to be launched without us being super close. Okay, because this can be relatively quite dangerous. What I typically do is, because I don't have a screwdriver for something like this, I just take a flathead, and I just turn it like that. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'll turn it until I get to the base of the eyelet. Okay, and it's pretty good there. I want to make sure there we go. Not like that. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take the other eyelet. We're going to take this all the way down, and what we're going to do is we're going to look straight through, take the other one, and kind of see where it's going to match up when it goes all the way down. Once we find that location, then what we want to do is we want to take that and basically screw it in right here. Now, I've kind of pre-drilled the hole here, but I don't know if it's here. I can't quite see it yet. I'm just going to screw it until hopefully, I think I found it. Okay, I got lucky here. So I'm going to turn this around. Okay, and then we're going to take this all the way down, see if it matches up. And it pretty much matches up. Okay, not perfect, but it works. And you can see that what happens is, when I pull it, it's going to launch just like that. Okay. Now the other last thing that we're going to talk about before this thing is officially done is, now for you guys in class, this is already done. But for those that are maybe watching this from home and want to kind of figure out maybe how to do this, you want something on the end. And a lot of times what I do is I'll take a penny nail and I will put it right here on the tip of it. And what happens is I won't put it straight in like that. I'll actually angle it up. Because what happens is you want it to be, let's see if I can give you a different profile on this. You don't want it to be sticking straight out, because what happens is when you go down, it can, basically what happens is the rope will slip off, okay? The string will slip off. So you want it kind of angled in, so that when you put it here, it's ready to go. It's not going to slip off. You let it go, and it'll just, it'll release it on the back end, on the front end, I guess you could say. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill in a hole, a small little hole, and I'm going to put a wood dowel. Instead of a penny nail for safety reasons, I'm going to put a wood dowel. A wood dowel is basically just something that you find like in when you put together furniture from like IKEA and stuff like that. Sometimes they'll have like little dowels for, it could be like desks, shelves, things of that nature. So I've got quite a few of them. I'm going to pre-drill a little hole, and I'm going to put that in there. Hopefully this drill bit is not too big. I'm actually trying to find a bigger dowel, because I feel like that one might be a little bit too big. Yeah, I don't really like what I'm seeing here. This one's kind of, so you don't want it too big. If the drill bit's too big, what will happen is this will come right out. Now I plan on gluing it anyways, so I might luck out. It might be a little bit loose, but it should be okay. So here we go. All right. So drill this here. Got a little hole right here. I'll put this wood dowel here. Okay, that's not too bad. It's not as far in as I would like it, but I think I don't want to go any further. Okay, I might hit the screw where it's coming through the wood here. So I'm just going to glue this. It should be good enough. So here's what I'll do. I'll put the wood glue on the wood dowel. Okay, and I'm going to take this, put it on there. There we go. Okay. And then the last thing we've got to do is, now that's going to dry. We're going to have to leave that for at least 24 hours. Okay. For those that are in my class that that we're doing this together, I'm going to already have that step done for you. So you're not going to worry about that part. Because we don't got 24 hours to wait. Okay. All right. So the last thing I got to do, and again for the class, you guys are pretty much done on this part. But for those that on there, I'm going to basically create a pouch. So this pouch is basically going to have two holes here. It's going to wrap around. I'm going to put, you can put like maybe a ball here, maybe clay or Play-Doh or something like that, so you can throw it. I've thrown like even sweet potato, like small little sweet potatoes or even small potatoes. I put them in this pouch to throw it, and it works. It worked great. So that's what I'm going to do. Trying to find my punch hole. It's a little thing I have that punches a hole inside. If I can find it, it's eluding me right now, and not quite sure why I can't find it. Ah, there it is. Okay, so this is a buttonhole punch. You don't have to have it. You can just simply just fold it, take scissors, and just cut it, and that can create your hole right here. Okay, so you could do that. I just want to be a little bit more professional, I guess. And what it is, just it's a, I don't know if you can see that. So it's like a little punch hole. It's got a little thing here where it's going to cut a little extra little line in there to allow things to go through it pretty quickly. I want to take a small little piece of wood. So I don't want to ruin this thing. This has been beat up a lot, but I don't want to beat up any more than I have to. And I'm going to take it, and I'm going to basically punch a hole through it with my hammer. Okay, so there it is. There's the hole. And you can see there's a little line right there. I don't know if it's kind of hard to see. I don't know if you can see that line. And then I'm going to do the other side. I want it to be about the same distance as the other one from the edge. I'm kind of eyeballing it. Okay, that's done. Then I'm going to take these, I think these are called eyelets. Yeah, they're called eyelets. And what we're going to do is we're going to basically take them, push them through. Like that. One for both ends. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some snips. Let's see if I can, okay. These are actually metal snips. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut probably about 5 or 6 of them. Just go around and cut, because what's going to happen is we're going to basically take a hammer to it and push back the metal pieces I'm cutting. And what it's going to do is going to trap it against the leather, because this is a leather strap right here. It's a pretty hardy strap. I don't want the pieces too big since it's difficult to bend around. So, there you go. And this is kind of difficult. I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to bend this back a little bit. Kind of like that. I'm going to take a hammer and slowly bang it down. Nothing too big, nothing too crazy. And then you see that. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing on the other thing. We're going to cut around going down. cause it to basically kind of like bend out, like kind of like flower petals, if you will. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess one more. Yeah, hopefully that's it. Be careful because these things can snap off. I've had one snap off already because I bent it a little bit too hard, I guess, or too fast, maybe. Okay. Okay, that one not so good. You see it's a little bent right there. And that's not perfect, but you know what? For what we're going to do, it's perfect. And then the goal, let me move my camera this way a little bit. So what you want to do is you want to take string. So from here all the way down to here, you don't want to go all the way down. You basically want this to go to about right here for the sling. Now the thing is, what I've noticed was the longer the wire is that you sling it around, what's going to happen is it's going to have a late release, and it's going to end up, the ball or the clay, whatever you're going to throw, is going to end up hitting the ground in front of you. The shorter it is, it's actually going to release it early, and it's going to shoot it straight up in the air. So you're trying to find that happy medium, the happy middle, where you don't want it too long, you don't want it too short. And a lot of times it just comes down to trying it out. So again, you want it, I don't know if you can see it now. And I got to play with the camera here a little bit, sorry. It's work in progress, guys. All right, so if you see here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this string, I'm going to take this leather pouch that I just created, and I'm going to go through it. And I used to tie it here, one string here, one string here, and do it that way, and then just cut it and have two little strings. But the problem is you can't adjust it. If you have one big string and you go through the leather pouch, then that way what can happen is you can actually adjust it. You can adjust the leather pouch and the string, and you can throw whatever you want pretty quickly. Okay. Now the issue here is when you get string, like nylon string like this, you get the part where it frays. So this is fraying. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll take matches or a lighter, and obviously can't do this at school. But I've done this already for the kids at school because we're doing this together. And let's see. And so what I'm going to do, just take, well, this is going to go out. And that's the problem. I'm in a garage with air conditioning, and air conditioning is blowing right in this direction. So I don't want to quite go over there yet. I might have to. So what I want to do is I want to burn this piece. But it can be very dangerous because this can get extremely hot, and I've burned myself before. And what I want to do is I just want to melt it enough to where it's not going to fray again. Okay. Yep. I just did that. I just burnt my finger right there. It's going to be a nice little piece there. But anyways, so you can see it's done for. It's not going to fray at all. And what I got to do is I got to do the other side. So I'm going to do this side too. All right. Let's see. One more go at this. Let's see if I can do it this time without burning my finger. I'm going to do this pretty quickly. There we go. Pretty good. All right, do not touch my finger. Okay. Woo! That hurts. That hurts. Okay, so it's done. So now I've got, and it's still going to be hot, obviously. So I've got these two are about the same length here. Okay, that looks good. All right. So if you take a look here, already this is way too long. It's past this point. So you actually want it higher than that. You want the sling to be about, I'd say roughly 7/8 the distance, like that. Okay? Hopefully you guys can see that. So you want it to about right here. Okay? You don't want it too close to the bolt. Otherwise, it's going to oversling it. Now, so you basically essentially got this much strength, extra strength. And that's okay because you need actual string to tie it off. And it's okay if you have extra anyways. You just tie it off, leave it there. It's not going to hurt nothing. Okay? And I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to do another video. We're going to do how to adjust it, how to make sure this thing works. What I'm going to do in the meantime, between this video and the next one of shooting it, is I'm going to switch out this counterweight for a smaller one, just as heavy, so that way it doesn't hit the skid plate like it's resting on it right now. So that's going to be a no-go right there. So it's not going to actually work. Okay. Hope you guys do a great job on yours. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd say leave comments down below, but this is a kid's video, so I guess no comments. If you find me, see me, ask me in person. God bless, guys. I'll see you later.